Greetings. This is the one you've known as Jesus the Christ. Oneness is something you can experience with your eyes. The eyes are also what reveal your oneness with another, and that is what I want to talk about first. What I mean by this is that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and at a soul level you are all the same. Without getting too tangled up in terminology, all I mean by soul in this case is the one consciousness that pervades and animates all life. This one consciousness is peering out of every living thing's eyes. The particular kind of intelligence, whether it's human or animal, colors the experience of this consciousness, but the consciousness itself is the same. For instance, the experience of being conscious as a dog is different from the experience of being conscious as a human being because of the type of intelligence and programming that operates that consciousness, and yet the consciousness is the same. There is only one consciousness in all of existence, and that is God. God is the consciousness that animates everything. You know God directly by experiencing your own consciousness and the consciousness of others. God is peering through your eyes and through every living being's eyes. There is only one being experiencing life through all these different forms, and that one being is what you call God. Why is this important? Knowing and experiencing this enriches your life. It helps you be aware that you are not just human. Not knowing or experiencing this leaves you feeling disconnected and at odds with life, which need not be your experience. Wouldn't all of you like to feel that you're connected and belonging to something greater than yourself? Yes, all of you would like this to be true, and it is. This is one instance of wishful thinking being actually true. Isn't it interesting that every human being wants this? Everyone wants to feel connected and part of something greater than oneself. This is fulfilling and allows you to relax and be at peace. You are wired, programmed to feel this way. You are programmed to know the truth about who you really are, that you belong to God and are an expression of God. If you were not programmed this way, if God were not, then God would get lost in the illusion of being a separate self. But that was not part of the design, as I've explained in other messages. God does not intend to get lost in creation, but to play within creation, for a time. So God created a fail-safe method for not becoming lost in creation, and that is the knowing planted in your heart, the spiritual heart, that you are of God and meant to return to God. Religions reflect this truth and your own inner knowing that there is a God and that you came from God. Because religions reflect this inner knowing, they've played a powerful role in human history. Beyond that, religions vary in what they teach about God, since the ego has consistently warped the truth. And yet, religion survives, in part because it acknowledges what you know in your heart. There is a God or some intelligent force behind life that continues to be involved with life and can be felt within you. The problem is that people have also bought into the many untrue beliefs that are also part of religion. But this message today is not about that. Since God is alive within creation, it stands to reason that you would be able to experience God within yourself, within others, and within all of creation. This is the essence of spirituality, and to know and experience God in this way, you don't need religion. This truth is self-evident, while many other religious beliefs are not and deserve to be questioned. The truth that there is a God or a supreme intelligence behind life is self-evident because, as I said, you were designed to know this through your own experience. Those who don't recognize or experience this are either not allowing themselves to because they have contrary beliefs, or they are overly enmeshed in their ego. But that is always only temporary. Although that misperception may last lifetimes, eventually the truth emerges compellingly into one's awareness and cannot be ignored. Back to the eyes. The easiest way to see God in the world is to gaze into the eyes of a person or an animal that is at rest and at peace. I say at rest and at peace because that is when someone is aligned with their divine nature. If someone is not at peace, he or she is most likely lost in thoughts or in fight or flight, and the divine self will not be apparent in the eyes. This is one reason the divine is not more apparent in the world. Most of the time, most people are either lost in their thoughts or in ego-induced stress or fear. Your state of consciousness, whether it is aligned with the divine or the ego, with love or fear, is visible in your eyes and in your demeanor. It is also felt by those who are sensitive. So if you wish to experience yours or another's God self, then look into their eyes when they are at peace or happy. A person's God self is easily recognizable by you. What you are recognizing is yourself in them. You recognize your commonality with them, your oneness with them. When you look into their eyes, it's like looking at yourself. You feel yourself in them, as if you were inside them, looking out at you. This is a very subtle but profound experience, one that is felt on an energetic level. You might want to practice this with someone you love. Look into each other's eyes for a few minutes. Focus on just seeing without thinking anything. Put your complete attention on their eyes and see what happens. See what you experience. Sometimes when you do this, a person's face shifts and changes, or disappears and is replaced by light. As you do this, also notice the experience of subtle energy in your heart area. There is often a sense of fullness or expansion there. Most of all, notice the gleam in that person's eye. That is God peeping out at you. You can also experience the divine within yourself by gazing at your own eyes in the mirror. If you look for the divine in people's eyes, you will find it easier to feel love, compassion, and appreciation for them. It's not always easy to feel these things when you focus on their physical appearance. This tends to bring out the ego's judgments. Physical appearances are deceiving. You truly cannot judge a book by its cover. Try focusing on the eyes instead, and you're more likely to experience that person's true self. You will see into their soul to the extent that their gaze is unclouded by fear and other egoic attachments. The other benefit of doing this is that if you look into someone's eyes, he or she is more likely to look into yours, and that may establish a deeper connection between you, whether that person is consciously aware of that connection or not. Try relating to others this way and see what happens. The other thing I'd like to talk about today is how your eyes are capable of seeing oneness. Since God is looking out of your eyes, it's possible to experience your world as God sees it. What interferes with that are the thoughts that run through your mind, which cause you to experience the world as the ego sees it. To shift your perception, make an intention to see as God sees, and then spend some time in a quiet, natural setting where you won't be disturbed, or look out a window, and just look. Do nothing but devote yourself to seeing. You can let your eyes wander from object to object, or you can focus solely on one particular object. This is a kind of meditation that I've sometimes called meditating on beauty. You are using the sense of sight to focus your mind. Whenever your mind wanders from just seeing whatever you're seeing to a thought, gently bring it back to just seeing. When you do this long enough, what you experience is a sense that what you're looking at is inside you. And if it's something that's moving, like leaves moving in the wind, you can on a very subtle level feel the leaves moving inside you. This is how you experience oneness with a tree or some other object. This is easier to do with plants and animals than rocks, since rocks don't move, but you can feel rocks subtly inside you as well. Then see if you can find a boundary between that tree or that rock or that cloud and you. Where is there a boundary? If you feel those things moving inside you, then couldn't it be said that they also exist within you? Who is this you that they exist within? Is there a boundary to this you? The subtle presence and movements of these objects are felt inside this sensing device you call your body. But how is that possible if they're actually out there and you are separate from them? Could you be out there as well, not just inside your body? Is the body really a boundary? Is there a boundary anywhere? The truth is that you are not separate from anything, regardless of how separate you may seem. You and everything else in life are awash in a sea of energy that connects everything. When something moves in that sea of energy, it can be felt and affects everything else in that sea of energy. You belong to that tree, that rock, and that cloud, and it belongs to you. In essence, you are no different from anything. You are beloved more than you know. How could we not love ourselves as we manifest in you and in every other form? We are you, and you are us. You are our beloveds, and we cherish your existence. Thank you for being open to this message. I am with you always.